Good morning, Manitoba. I'm Larry McIntosh, and I'll be your host for the next hour and every Saturday morning from 8 to 9. Here is a quick update on our crops. We have a lot of Manitoba-grown vegetables available at your local store right now. So, here's some of the items. Manitoba-grown beets, broccoli, kale, leeks, cucumbers, cauliflower, zucchini, green red and Savoy cabbage, carrots, cucumbers, and jalapeno peppers are now available at your local store. And starting very shortly, within the day or two, peak of the market pickling onions, green peppers, corn, and rutabagas will also be available. So when you visit your local store, please support locally grown products. And as always, if it says peak of the market on the label, you are guaranteed it is grown right here in Manitoba. My guest this morning is Danielle Stott, partner and owner of Mokada Custom Jewelry Design Studio. Danielle Stott. Mokada, you're really testing me on some of these words. How are you this morning?
I'm great. And yourself?
Good. Mokada, is that
yes,
is that
Mokada.
how
you pronounced it perfectly.
Custom Jewelry Design Studio. So the first obvious question is, what do you do at a jewelry design studio? I'm guessing something to do with jewelry.
Yes. Every woman's favorite thing to shop for outside of rutabaga.
Only for women?
No, not only for women. Everyone is a prospective client. Yeah, we have tiny, tiny little babies that are fingerprinted for jewelry, and we have graduations, engagements, weddings, anniversaries. Yeah, get the whole spectrum of clients.
So where are you located?
We are located at unit number 1, 530 Waterfront Drive.
Oh, right down on Waterfront.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, beautiful part of town.
So your business, is this something that people can walk in, or they make an appointment, or how does it work?
We do obviously welcome walk-in traffic. For the most part, it is a good idea to book a design session with Mona so that you get her one-on-one undivided attention and you can sit down and customize a piece.
And what are the hours if you just wanted to walk in and talk?
Our normal studio hours are 9 to 5, Monday to Friday,
Okay.
10 to 1 on Saturdays. However, we will accommodate private appointments in the evening or on holidays as needed.
So you're flexible.
Absolutely. You have to be.
So what type of design would it be? You just thinking of a wedding ring, or are you thinking of, you said babies there? What would people be looking for?
Yeah. Well, Mokada was founded as an alternative to kind of overpriced, perhaps more traditional jewelry that you would just find, purchased out of a showcase as is. So we invested a lot of money into some design software. And the spirit of that purchase, or the intention, was to obviously target bridal. And what we've discovered is that we're doing a lot of redesigning. So clients are inheriting pieces, family heirlooms perhaps, let's say engagements that didn't follow through.
Happens.
Yes, it does happen. So nobody is just going to discard those items because they're made of precious metals and real gems and diamonds. However, it might not suit their style, or it may be inappropriate to wear it in that regard. So they're coming down, they're melting down their jewelry and repurposing those pieces for something that's more in keeping with their style.
So they're actually melting down their jewelry.
Yes.
So is that something you do, or you send it away to do, or how does that work?
It's something that our goldsmith does. So we don't do it on site.
Okay.
Yeah. And our goldsmith is fantastic to work with. He'll actually take your gold in trade. So for example, if you inherit more classic pieces and the coloring might not be to your taste, he'll actually take it in trade. So if you had a yellow gold piece to start off with, he's willing to recreate something in perhaps a white gold, or there's a new trend of rose gold, for example.
So this is something that people can either, repurposing, I think, is recycling.
Redesigning. Yeah.
But what if somebody just wants to do an engagement ring and they have a vision? Is that what you also would be doing?
Absolutely. Yeah. We actually encourage our clients to shop, look online, go to stores, write down style numbers, take pictures. Our software allows you to customize it. So we do have prototypes in the studio for you to look at, but we tell clients, don't dismiss one ring because you feel as though the stone is set too high, or if you like the way these stones are set, but it's too wide. Our design software, it'll change it right in front of your eyes, and you can make it higher, lower, wider. You can change the shape of the stone. So if you are torn because you find a wide variety of rings that you like, you could actually design your own and incorporate aspects of ring 1, 2, and 4, for example. Yeah, it's interesting.
So do you know when you look at a ring if it's real gold or valuable or real diamonds? Can you tell?
I'm in training for that, but Mona most definitely can. Yeah. But that's a great question because there is a diamond alternative that's becoming more popular. It's called moissanite, and it's a lab-grown stone. Looks just like a diamond. It's actually fooling the best of gemologists. So we've invested in a moissanite tester because that one's really hard to catch.
So is this it's obviously cheaper than a diamond would be? That's obviously it's a benefit.
It is less expensive.
But you can't tell the difference?
No.
Really?
Yeah, not to the naked eye. It's very impressive.
Hopefully Shelley's not listening right now.
But you know what? It's a budget alternative too. I think anyone who's had the challenge of planning a wedding, they know the varying expenses that come with planning that celebration and starting your life together. So some of our couples opt to do like a diamond alternative and perhaps consider changing that stone out, like swapping it somewhere down the road. Having said that, it is a very popular trend to be doing colored engagement rings now. It does not need to be a diamond. That's the thing with custom. I wish that we could create two pieces so that I could show everybody all of our designs, but it's obviously cost prohibitive for me to do that. So we do our best to capture it with, photos, and we put them up on all our social media pages. But, morganite, we did a beautiful salon sapphire the other day, citrines, black diamonds. Yeah, you see it all. That's the exciting part.
Yeah, say I've heard of black diamonds and I've heard of regular diamonds. Yeah. Beyond that, you're kind of over my head on that stuff. But so you can help people with that.
Absolutely. And I think people get a true understanding when they actually sit down with Mona and have a chance to see the design program. Because when she tells you that you can make anything, you literally can make anything. Our only limitation is your imagination and your creativity. So very often clients end up booking a design session. They realize just the scope of options available to them. Sometimes they leave feeling almost a little bit overwhelmed. They go away, think on it, and then come back because they realize they're not going to be limited in their design choices.
We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Please follow us on Twitter at Peak of the Market for recipes and Manitoba veggie crop updates. We have over 100,000 Twitter followers from all over the world, and we'd love to have you follow us too. Again, we're at Peak of the Market, or my Twitter account is at Larry McIntosh. We're back with Danielle Stott, partner and owner of Mokada Custom Jewelry Design Studio. Mokada Custom Jewelry Design Studio is real. It's a mouthful. You're going to have to come up with abbreviations for that.
Well, Mokada actually is an acronym.
It is? Okay, yeah. I was going to ask you that. What's it stand for?
Everyone thinks it means something in another language, and I wish I could say it did because it sounds far more glamorous and exotic. But in reality, it's a combination of Mona, Caitlin, and Danielle.
Mona, Caitlin, and Danielle. See, when Shelley and I were driving here this morning, we got Mona and we got Danielle, but we didn't know what the other letters were. So we actually figured it out. I was going to put it into a translator, and that would have been way too complicated. So that's where the name came from.
Interesting to see what it came up with. Yes.
So you're located down on Waterfront, and people can come down to meet with Mona one-on-one and talk about design or redesigning. But do you actually have jewelry in the store as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, we carry a variety of jewelry. We have it in stock, so if someone's pressed for a last-minute gift idea, we obviously have options available.
You're talking about guys here, aren't you? Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Mona's turned into a personal shopper for some of them. It's like, here's a friendly reminder. This is what you got her last time. But in addition to that, we also welcome guest designers in the studio. So Mona, she embraces that. She loves everybody's creativity, and we're always looking to have something new. So we have a lot of local artisans that we showcase in the studio.
And how long has the business been around?
We are coming up on 3 years this fall.
3 years? Wow.
So without naming names, Mona did work for a large jewelry chain prior to this. So she was a regional manager and diamond buyer, and she was semi-retired, but still had the skill set, and her personal network kept, tapping her on the shoulder. Before you know it, she was working full-time. So we just decided there obviously was a need for custom work in the city. I think there's a trend in Winnipeg right now. It's just becoming more metropolitan. And we decided that we should open Mokada.
Going from semi-retired to owning a business and running that, it's quite different.
Yes, it is.
Obviously, you both have a passion for it?
We do, and we come from a large family where everyone's an entrepreneur, so I think it's just second nature.
So as part of being a new business, and it's a Manitoba business, obviously you've only been around 3 years, which is relatively new.
Yes.
How do you get the word out, using a lot of social media, or how do you get to tell people about your story?
We do a lot of social media. What we do is highly visual. I think I'd mentioned to you before that it's cost prohibitive for me to make 2 of every design that we produce. And the sad part is with custom is once you make a ring or a necklace, pendant, bracelet, it always leaves. Someone's adorning it out there, but we no longer have it in the studio to show people. So Instagram and Facebook have been very, very helpful in getting out our message. We have aligned ourselves with some bridal magazines and showcases. So the Wonderful Wedding Show and the It's Love Boutique. And in addition to that, the highest compliment obviously we get is a word of mouth referral.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Absolutely.
No question about it. So you'll be building the business up until you start buying radio advertising on 680 CJOB. I know that you were going to say that, right?
Yeah, that's my budget for next year.
That's next year
all my
already.
advertising dollars are entirely
Well,
based on radio.
you know, I think we'd be greedy to want all of them. But so if someone, Shelley sees that Heather's ring's nice and she got it there, can she get the same ring?
Shouldn't say
Controversy.
on the radio. But Mona does like to offer exclusivity in her designs. So you may be able to use that as a base point to jump off for your design, but she does prefer to tweak it out and make it a little bit different. We have on 2 occasions duplicated a ring, but those folks were provinces apart, so we figured it was acceptable.
What if they ran into each other?
I know, what are the odds? But who knows?
What are the odds? So the majority of the jewelry you design for women, obviously? Do you do any men?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
You do?
We do. I think there's a bit of a myth, especially as it pertains to men's jewelry, that you don't have the same options available to you. So we've turned into a little bit of a wedding band factory lately. It is wedding season, right? And men can get stones, and we can change widths and finishes and shapes and precious metals. And, you know, we've been actually doing a customized fingerprint option. So we started off as doing it as like push presents. And then
what's a push present?
Oh, we'll visit that. We'll revisit that.
Okay. All right.
But it actually really took off in our bridal section as well. And we're getting a lot of fingerprint impressions on the inside of the shank for gents bands. So you get an engravable message, and then in addition to that, you get your wife's or your future wife's fingerprint in the inside of your gents wedding band.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That is cool.
Yes, we do a lot of that. A lot.
A fingerprint inside your wedding band.
Mm-hmm. So to revisit the push present. If you are adding little people to an existing family, what we have done is that your first child, for example, comes in, you do a fingerprint impression, and we've done it as like a jewelry charm. I'm actually wearing one right now, for example.
Can't see that on the radio, but yes.
A pendant, earrings, brooches, keychains, golf markers, you name it. You can customize anything, right?
We'll be right back with Danielle Stott, partner and owner of Mokada Custom Jewelry Design Studio, after we take this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. It's time for a recipe segment called Now We're Cooking. Now, you don't need to write this recipe down, as it's today's recipe of the day at peakmarket.com and then today's Winnipeg Sun. So all the information is available on our website or today's Winnipeg Sun. Today's recipe is stuffed avocados. Stuffed avocados. Okay, that doesn't sound like vegetables. Let's see what it is here. Here's what you need for the recipe. 2 avocados halved, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, half a cup of mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons of additional lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of corn oil, 2 green onions chopped, there's the vegetable, half a cup of grated cheddar cheese, 3/4 of a cup cooked long grain rice. And you take the brush the avocados with lemon juice and set aside. In a large bowl, mix the mayonnaise, lemon juice, and oil. Then add the green onions, cheese, and rice. Garnish each avocado half with the mixture, and this recipe serves 4. That sounds pretty simple. Again, this recipe is stuffed avocados, is today's recipe of the day at peakmarket.com and in the Winnipeg Sun. And all the recipes on our website or in the newspaper have both metric and imperial measurements. We also have over 4,000 recipes at peakmarket.com, so pretty much anything you're looking for would be available there, and you can even get recipes by email. If you'd like to get them by email, you just go to peakmarket.com, click on the email recipes, and the system will ask you for your email address, the province you live in, and how often you want to receive the recipes. It's that simple, and you can certainly unsubscribe at any time. We currently have over 45,000 subscribers in 202 countries, and we'd love to have you join the club. We'll be right back with Danielle Stott, partner and owner of Mokada Custom Jewelry Design Studio, after we take this break for your 680 CJOB News, Sports, and Weather. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Food and Friends Radio is now on TV. I want to please find us and like us on Facebook. We currently have over 100,000. I'm skipping all over the place. My apologies. You can find us on MyToba.ca. Now I'll talk about Facebook. We're on Facebook as well. We currently have over 100,000 likes from all over the world, and we'd love to have you join the group. On Facebook, we talk about our charity events, and we give out interesting veggie tidbits. So please find us and like us on Facebook. We're back with Danielle Stott, partner and owner of Mokada Custom Jewelry Design Studio. See, I was jumping from one thought to another. You can't do that. See, that's what happens when you're live. You can't go back and re-record these things.
I know what you meant.
So we were talking in the last half hour before the news and everything about push gifts. So tell me again what that's about.
Push presents are to celebrate the arrival of a new child.
Okay. So why does it get that name?
Well, I think it's a token of appreciation for your partner pushing.
That's what I thought. I just wanted you to have it say it.
I thought it was self-explanatory.
Not for me, apparently. So people are doing that now, but we were talking off air during the break that custom jewelry that's expensive, right?
It's not, and Mokada hopes to dispel the myth that custom is a code word for expensive. Custom in our world is simply a synonym for unique, exclusive, and one of a kind. It need not break the bank. So Mokada can meet any budget. Our state-of-the-art design program helps a lot with that. So we can find ways to reduce the price and not the glamour. Everyone's deserving of that perfect ring of their dreams. The ability to hand select your stone and then pair it with a mount or a semi-mount that you design often represents the greatest value.
Well, I would think, and I'm not in the business by any stretch, but I mean, you have a nice, beautiful location. It's a smaller store than I would say the average jewelry store probably is. You don't have a lot of inventory to worry about because you're doing a lot of custom work. That's going to help you a little bit with your overheads as far as that goes.
Yeah, we do have a lower overhead, and that wasn't the reason for structuring our business model the way we did. As I mentioned, Mona kind of had that past in retail and managing it, and she often got in trouble because she'd combine all these pieces out of the showcase with instructions for the goldsmith to tear apart the stock, and her boss was like, please stop doing that. I want you to sell it as is, right? But the client didn't necessarily want it that way. And jewelry is expected to be worn, depending on the piece, sometimes every day. And it should be distinct, just like you, right? It should be a reflection of your personality. It should honor your relationship. It should celebrate that milestone. And Mona will not stop until you absolutely love it because she wants you to wear it with pride. She wants you to tell other, prospects about Mokada.
And you could tell me this, but I mean, I've talked to wedding planners and hotels, and they say sometimes the bride or groom can be fairly fussy to deal with when it comes to wedding planning. Is you finding that?
Yes, sometimes. I think the more demanding clients or more particular clients, you have to amortize those against the ones that are really easy and, far quicker than you would even expect.
So would you think I would be an easy client or a more demanding client?
Easy for sure.
Oh, good answer. Good answer.
Yes. But you know what? I've always obviously appreciated the clientele walking through the door. We know that each client's had a very unique experience that led them up to the moment that they end up at Mokada. But I recently got engaged for about 3.5 months ago. And now
Congratulations.
Thank you. But I actually know just how exciting of a time it is. And yeah, it's definitely changed my perspective on what I do.
So that's your engagement ring you have on there?
Yes, it is.
Is it custom designed?
Yes, it is.
What is, really?
Yes, and I did not have a hand in it, but that is another trend that we see occurring, obviously. A lot of couples are coming in and designing rings together. They said, you know what? I know that my partner is going to be very particular about this. It's going to be a large investment for us, and I don't want to get something that he or she will not like. So either they come in and they do the process beginning to end together. Some couples have opted to design 3 different rings, and they're surprised as to which one they get, but they love them all. Yeah, like I said, each experience it's unique, and some couples join us or, tap out at different times.
Shelley and I got married 942 days ago.
Okay.
So when I was looking for the engagement ring, that's a lot of pressure.
It
I
is.
mean, you don't know. It's like buying clothes for people. It's tough to do. People don't always like what you like. Went over very well, and Shelley wears it every day, so she's being played, or she really likes it. I think she really likes it. But that is a tough thing to do. And doing it as a couple is an interesting way of kind of coming over everybody's tastes, I guess.
Well, there's actually a fairly alarming statistic, that about 80% of people don't care for their engagement ring.
Wow.
Or would wish to make changes had they, been given the opportunity for some input.
And I think there's some married couples that we know that have been married 20, 25 years that are now going back and redesigning the rings because at the time when they got engaged or got married, they couldn't afford as much, and they want to keep that essence of it, but move up.
Absolutely. Or their style has just changed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how you wore your hair and the clothes you selected 25, 30 years ago, they're not the same as what you would do today. So they give the jewelry a facelift as well.
I was pretty much the same 25 or 30 years ago, but I know what your point there is. So when you get your wedding ring, you know what it's going to be? Have you designed it? Have you looked at it? Are you involved? You don't? Really?
No, but we do inherit a lot of clients that have existing engagement rings, and we've been doing custom wedding bands. So because there is a trend for custom pieces, they don't necessarily come with a matching set. Or, you know, there's a recurring theme of vintage pieces. So people are going to antique shops, so they find an engagement ring, but they don't necessarily have a matching wedding band.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's a trend that you don't want them to be matching, so there's not necessarily connectivity between the wedding band and the engagement ring. So we've been doing a lot of wedding bands.
So if someone's coming to see you and Mona and talk about a ring, what would you say they should think about prior to coming?
Budget is a consideration that Mona takes very seriously. You should think about lifestyle as well. A lot of people, for a period of their life, end up taking their engagement ring off. You know, they have a baby. They don't want to scratch the baby. So do you want a molded wedding band that cannot be worn on its own? Or would you like something that standalone? You know, it fits your lifestyle, your occupation, you know, your household.
Those are good tips.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else they should be thinking about, or you want to become open with an open mind when they arrive? Or do you really want them to be focused on what they're looking for?
You know, Mona is flexible. We had a client tell us the other day that they were referred to us. You know, they did their homework, a little bit of research. They checked out our designs on the website. And their feedback was that they had a really hard time picking up on our design style. And we knew that, but it was a very profound thing for a client to actually articulate and verbalize that to us. And we could easily pick and choose pieces that are a reflection of our individual tastes, but Mona is just really driving the software. She wants to make sure that you get what you want when you come into her studio. So the client is the boss. It's not the pieces that you see necessarily on our website. They're not all a reflection of her taste. They're a reflection of our clients' designs. All of our clients are designers.
We'll be right back after we take this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Food and Friends Radio is now on TV. Each radio show is filmed and will be posted on MyToba.ca later this weekend. So if you want to see the TV version of this or previous radio shows, please visit MyToba.ca. Thanks to 680 CJOB's Nicole Bonnycamp, who produces our show, and Chad, who operates the camera, as well as the teachers at the TechVoc High School Broadcasting and Media Arts program. You can also listen to an audio podcast of Food and Friends at SoundCloud.com and at the iTunes store. So please just do a search for Food and Friends with Larry at MyToba.ca or at SoundCloud.com or iTunes, and all those shows will come up for your listening and viewing pleasure. It's very important for me to mention that Food and Friends is only available because of 680 CJOB and its advertisers, so please tune in to 680 CJOB or listen live at cjob.com. We're back with Danielle Stott, partner and owner at Mokada Custom Jewelry Design Studio. We're talking off air. You talk about Mona throughout the show, and that's your mom, right?
Now you're revealing all my secrets.
You shouldn't call her mom?
Mona is my mom, but when we're at work, I refer to her as Mona.
Okay, and she's okay with that?
She prefers it.
Oh.
It's all business.
So if you go for family dinner?
Mom.
It is mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dare not call her Mona in the evening.
Okay, so you have rules.
We do.
Okay.
She sets the rules.
So before we forget, you have a website that shows some of the work you do, and what's the website name?
It's
address?
www.mokada, so it's MOKADA.ca.
And a lot of your works are shown on your Facebook site and Twitter, and so that will give people an idea of some of the stuff you've done.
Absolutely.
But again, it's not necessarily what they would have to do. It's their own ideas you're looking for.
Yeah, and it kind of gives them a place to start looking and see all of the options available to them. Earlier this week, I posted a marquee black diamond with a two-tone gallery and a black rhodium-plated ladies' wedding band to match the gents. It's something I've never seen before. We put up videos of, jackets and bands that click in, and Mona's extremely creative. Yes. So
you were saying earlier that your business has been around 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
You and your mom are partners.
Yes.
That's always a challenge, being a partner with a family too. But we won't ask you about that. No, I'm sure it's fine. But what are the big challenges you're finding in the first 3 years of business?
Well, at the outset, it was just dispelling that myth that custom is a code word for expensive, right? Well, we've been very blessed. I actually am surprised that we don't have more challenges, to be honest with you. Staying true to the brand, right? It's hard in a startup, but you have to be completely unwavering and non-compromising on that. But staying true to the brand, and we're just really blessed that Winnipeggers have accepted our business model and are buying into it. They're really getting it.
And as you said earlier, I'm sure that someone gets a ring or whatever piece of jewelry and loves it, tells everybody about your place, and that's a lot of the advertising you get.
Yeah, and it is impossible for Mona to sit down with a client and not instantly form a bond. Most of the time, she ends up suggesting ways to propose.
Really?
She will bend over backwards. We had a client that he didn't realize that custom took a little bit of time to actually deliver it, because you are hand making this ring. And her turnaround time is really fast compared to other custom options, because the design software speeds up the whole CAD. So that's the mold. It speeds up that whole entire process, but it still takes 2 to 3 weeks. We're at 3 now, because we're
pretty fast.
peak season. We're pretty fast. But he wanted to get on a plane and propose on a trip. And Mona, I think, was at the UPS terminal at the airport waiting when they unlocked their doors. His parents were going to meet them, so she met them at the security gate, said, "Hi, you've never met me before. You need to look in this box and guarantee that there's actually a diamond ring inside." She will go the extra mile. Yeah.
And that's got to set you a difference than your competitors that are out there, whatever they may be, whether it's traditional jewelry stores or...
Yeah, it's personalized, right? And our studio, like I mentioned to you, the studio is small. And it's good to book an appointment. You have one-on-one undivided time with her. She's booking about 2 weeks out right now. So like I said, we're busy, which is great. But it's a relaxed session. You come in the evening, she'll offer you a beverage, and you sit down. And she doesn't want anyone to feel rushed through this process. It's not high-pressure sales. She wants you to take your time. She's going to make recommendations. She'll make suggestions, impart subject matter expertise, but she really wants you to make an informed buying decision. You're not standing at center court in the mall where your neighbor might spot you buying a piece of jewelry. It's private, it's exclusive, and that's our value proposition.
I would guess the majority of it is wedding rings. Would that be correct?
Well, at the outset, we were identifying our revenue streams, and we thought it definitely would be. And obviously, we do a lot of engagement rings, and we pair that with matching wedding bands. But we do, like I said, a lot of redesign. Right. So it's pendants and bracelets and fashion rings. She'll even do custom grad rings. She doesn't want a classic school ring that you can't wear 14 years later because you're dating yourself. She wants you to really celebrate that milestone in your life. My mom obviously designed my high school grad ring, which I wear now as I'm not going to disclose my age, a 30-something-year-old businesswoman. And it's appropriate for my life now. It doesn't look like I'm wearing my high school class ring.
Right. And do you see a lot of repeat business then?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that tells you something right there, right?
You know what? And her tagline is creating tomorrow's family heirloom today. So creating an engagement ring and pairing it with that wedding band, and then getting that same couple coming back, celebrating the arrival of their child. And then you know how time flies. That child inevitably comes in for their grad ring, and before you know it, you've inherited them and their engagement ring. I have no idea where the time goes, but she wants to be your family jeweler. She wants to, form that relationship and that bond. And it's impossible. She makes friends everywhere because clients are instantly reformed into friends in her personal network.
So the two of you, looking back 3 years later, don't have any regrets?
No regrets. I am not there on a full-time basis. She definitely would like me to be. When we are together, she's driving the software, but we come up with some pretty wicked designs. So
we'll be right back with Danielle Stott, partner and owner of Mokada Custom Jewelry Design Studio, after we take this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Please join me next Saturday when my guest will be Marilyn Peckett, Superintendent of Manitoba Field Unit at Parks Canada. Marilyn will tell us what's new at Parks Canada, and we'll have a story to tell her because we were in Churchill a few weeks ago, and we'll talk about we saw a few polar bears, but lots of whales. My guest today has been Danielle Stott, partner and owner of Mokada Custom Jewelry Design Studio. So thanks a lot for being on the show. It's been kind of fun.
Thanks for having me. It was worth waking up really early.
And now I feel like I should, visit Mona and, look at some jewelry or something.
Absolutely. I'm on my way to the studio right now.
Really?
So 530 Waterfront Drive. Give her a shout. Schedule an appointment.
And the website, all the information is there, I'm assuming?
Mokada.ca. Yeah.
Check it out. And, of course, your Facebook has lots and lots of pictures of things you've created.
It's always tricky to manage that because I can't let those secrets out until I know the proposal has been accepted.
Oh, that's a good point. Well, thanks very much for being on Food and Friends.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks to Nicole Bonnycamp, our show's producer. Take care and please don't forget to eat your veggies.